Hey everyone, Rob here, and today I'm going to take you through EVO 2023. This will be a complete walkthrough. There's no script. I am just doing it off the cuff as I'm looking at the images that I recorded here. They're the event hours. This is the long walk to the EVO entrance. It's actually longer than that. If you cut all out right there, you can see Tekken 8 banner up in the background. There's MK1, Project L. Anyway, what I was saying, there's this. If you're even if you're staying at Mandalay Bay, it's quite a walk to just even get to this point. So, cut all that out. Here is the ferry entrance. There's a security guard there just checking badges. You can see the main games up there on the left-hand side and the major sponsors. And here's the, I don't know, EVO wall. I don't really know what to call it. It's like EVO kind of, I don't know, just pictures of previous EVOs. I don't think they have anything to do in particular to any one theme. It's not like just the champions or anything like that. I think it's just kind of EVO moments. Oh, there's that. I'll point that out in a second. That is Alex Valle, as I just pointed out. He is kind of Mr. Street Fighter. He's been coming. I think he might have been. I'm not sure if he was one of the organizers or not, but he's definitely been there since the beginning. And it's funny because I always run into him somewhere in the casino. Never in EVO, but I see him like in an elevator, or this last time he was walking by the poker room where I spent a lot of time. But yeah, I always seem to see Alex. I never speak to him. He doesn't know who I am or anything. I just know who he is, of course. Like, who doesn't if you're into Street Fighter? But yeah, there's just all these pictures of cool EVO events, and here's kind of we walk into the main area. That's the EVO T-shirt and kind of memorabilia stuff. It's not collectible. Well, I guess some of them are collectible. It's mostly just like tchotchkes and stuff, water bottles, probably keychains, things like that. And I think I'm looking for a venue map at this point. Again, this is totally off the cuff. I may stumble over my words or say something incorrectly. If I catch it before I publish this, I will make corrections there at the bottom. But basically what happened was, oh, never mind, let's focus on the venue map. Here it is. Finally found it. So venue map there, you can pause it if you really want to know what the details are there, and I'm sure you can just visit the EVO website. But basically on the left-hand side is mostly tournaments. That's what those little gray squares are. They're all pools. Each one of those is a pool for, it can change per day on what game it's for, but each one of those is like a 4-station pool. To the right, to the top, is the red stuff was Artist Alley, and all this custom artwork and jewelry and all that stuff. And then lower right hand was more sponsors. That's where you have like the MK1 stuff, the Project L stuff, and then kind of the right middle, even though we're way past the map now. That was, I think, that was the big Sony booth, the big Sony PlayStation booth was there. This is going to take a little while. I'm going to warn you right now, you may want to skim ahead if you're not interested in the arcade part, because the arcade was really big this year, and there was just such an amazing variety of games. Of course, being EVO, there's tons and tons of fighting games. That's what you're seeing here, but you're also seeing Tetris, and you might be wondering if like, oh, that's kind of lame. Everybody's playing single player. No, sir. They're playing the opponent on the other side, and if I would turn my camera to the right, thank you, they're playing these guys. So remember, the guy playing Tetris, he's playing this guy in Tetris, and the guy playing Third Strike, he's playing the other guy on the other side. So yeah, it's all head-to-head Japanese style. There's little mini cutes. Those are side by side, which is funny because they're so small and it's side by side, and the big ones are across from each other. But yeah, tons and tons of these candy cabs. Right, these are all CRT mod. Oh, I just noticed the Aki cosplay there. I'm not sure if you guys caught that. A friend of mine, Taylor, just told me that I didn't realize, but the Aki kind of, not costume, but like the makeup of her look is supposed to look like a poisonous mushroom, and that's a mushroom cap, and it totally makes sense. It's really cool. Anyway, you'll see lots of probably cosplay as I'm just walking, but yeah, tons and tons of candy cabs, as you can see. I think these are Capcom and press cabs on the left. I'm not sure. There's some Sega Blast Cities. It's kind of weird because in Japan, Sega Blast City is just like, that's just the cabinet, and you could have Tekken in there like that. That's not a Sega game, but you don't really see that in American arcades. At least you didn't. Back in the 80s and 90s, the cabinet was kind of dedicated to whatever game, or at least like Midway cabs only held Midway games for the most part. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from changing it out. But in Japan, it was kind of a different deal. Like Taito made, their own cabinets, and you can have a Taito game in there or not. But in any case, candy cabs are awesome. These are, again, all CRT, so very almost you can pretty much consider them lagless, and they're in great shape. Most of them. CRTs are, they're dying as time goes on. There are going to be less and less of them, and I've seen some arcade or some monitor manufacturer trying to make square LCD panels that are very, very close to CRT quality. So that may be at some point the only way to play these games like this, because CRTs are eventually going to die. And here are the newer candy cabs. These are the more Vuelich style. These are the 16x9. What we would consider standard these days for all games, really. And so you see a bunch of the newer games. I don't even know, some of these games are very obscure, at least to me. I don't know most of. I was kind of taken aback from that, taken aback by that one. I don't know what the heck it was, but is pretty interesting. Over here we have this. Oh, so the long line. You can see there's like this long line. I think this is the day that it was Project L. So Project L is, of course, one of the unreleased games. It's a big game coming out from Riot. And they had put, I think, a setup or two here in the arcade area, which was kind of neat of them. And so people just lined up, really. And there was another booth, and you'll see that later, just dedicated to Project L. But it was cool of them to just put a setup in the arcade as well. And over here to the left, the games were kind of put together in some... I mean, you could tell like there was some thought put into it. You had the older Candy Cab CRTs with fighting games and stuff like that on one side, then you have the newer Vuelich style machines over here, and that's what you're looking at here. The games themselves, I think they're more grouped by cabinet type than games, because you're going to see in the far end, you can kind of see them there. Those are the older kind of American cabs, and they're all together, and of course those games are all different types. And there's a Puzzle Fighter, of course that's not a fighting game, but it is made by Capcom. And so we're back to kind of the candy cab area here. Let's see if we can take a look. What is that? Looks like an SNK game. Not sure which one. There's a music game here. Oh, that one's off. Looks like it died. This is Marvel. Yeah. And over to our left, more candy cabs. This is that Mortal Kombat? That is funny to see. So you see an American fighting game, Mortal Kombat, strictly American, or very much American, in a Japanese candy cab, which is pretty cool. Over here we just have some more fighting games. I can't quite tell what some of these are. There was a lot of people there, and I couldn't always get a very good glimpse at the screen, but I did my best to capture as much as I could. That looked like it was Marvel. Yeah. But if you notice, at the beginning, the candy cabs at the very left, when I started, were all fighting games, but these candy cabs on the right are all kind of mixed genres, right? We have shooters, puzzle games, of course there's still a fighting game, and this guy was working in what looks like a Tekken. I don't think I ever saw that one running, but it looks like it was running Tekken, but more shmups, more puzzle games, so you had a lot more different types of games on this side of the beginning of the arcade. This one looks like more Marvel, so there's Tizak from Garo. And I'm excited for the new Garo game. I haven't been playing a whole lot of Neo Geo or SNK games. Of course, not Neo Geo games. But maybe it's time to get back in it with the new Fatal Fury. That was Dead or Alive and CVS. And, of course, Virtua Fighter. I was going to say my favorite Dreamcast game of all time. And it may be. I don't know. I really, really like Virtua Fighter. It was a lot of fun. It's like the best version of Pong ever made. But, going over here, looks like some more fighting games. And, Windjammers. Okay, so they made a Windjammers 2 not too long ago. And, yeah, Giant Bomb, for some reason, I feel like it was for a goof or something. I don't know. Maybe they genuinely liked that. I don't know. Taylor probably knows. My buddy's really into Giant Bomb. They played Windjammers, and, like, all their fans, like, got super into it. And maybe it was like they figured, like, it was like a gem, right? And what is it called? An undiscovered gem. Oh my god, I'm blanking out. This is what happens when you don't have a script. What's it called? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean. A game that was a gem that, oh my god, it's driving me nuts. I'm probably gonna have to put this put them at the bottom of the video here. But anyway, getting back on track here, we're getting to what was the right side as I entered. This is one of the edges of the arcade area. These are all, as you can see, very old, ancient, some would say, American arcade games, and that is Battlezone. That's one of the oldest 3D games ever made. Oh, Robotron. So I probably spent, yeah, I remember. I can't hear what I'm saying in the video because I'm doing this voiceover, and the way I'm doing it, I can't hear the video. I can just only see the images. So I'm probably testing the stick because you really need a good leaf spring Wicco stick in order to play Robotron correctly. If you don't know what those are, look up a leaf joystick. It's very different. It doesn't have micro switches. It has these two bendable pieces of metal. Gauntlet used them as well, although they weren't Wicco brand. Basically, when you push into a direction, it would bend the metal, and if two pieces of metal touched, it would create a connection, and it would say, hey, go that direction. But it makes it feel almost like a perfect circle, and I know there was a perfect circle joystick by Hap. I'm getting completely off track here. But anyway, that's what I was testing. Here you can see what I was talking about before. These are all Nintendo games, and you see they all share the same cabinet design. And this was kind of, I think, one of the major differences between, obviously, the standing cabinets in America and in Japan. But in America, all the cabinets tended to stay one manufacturer. You never really saw non-Nintendo games in a Nintendo cabinet. And then you have stuff like this, 720 Degrees by Atari. That is so specific to that game. It has a joystick that's tilted and spins a certain way, and that, I mean, that you'll never see anything but a 720 game in a 720 cabinet, because it wouldn't make sense. And Spy Hunter has its own little controller there. Oh, ice cold beer. Oh man, love ice cold beer. I really wish I had spent more time at EVO. I was pressed for time. I didn't spend enough time here. I really wanted to come back and play these games, but I didn't get a chance. Ice Cold Beer is an amazing game. It's not a video game, but it's a really cool bar game where you have to guide this little metal ball into a specific hole, and it's fantastic. So yeah, these are all. It looks like we ran out of the American games, and we're getting into the other extremities of the arcade area, and these are all the Japanese music games. So you'll see some of them you'll recognize. Some of them are, I've never even heard of some of these. But yeah, so that side is, and in this side we have, what is this? Oh, this is like a virtual lawn, I guess, or a big. This is like a big multi-connected arcade game. I think I watched it for a little bit and didn't understand what the heck was going on. It might be like a virtual lawn, like a mech battle, but it's all connected. Really cool. Really awesome that people brought these games, some of them really expensive like that game, and brought them out here for people, and everything's for people to play. Everything's on free play, and it's just amazing. Just the community level is amazing. Everybody's so helpful and polite. If you want to play, people are more than happy to let you play. I never had any problem with anybody. It's awesome. If you have never gone to an EVO, you should definitely, there's an initial D game, you should definitely make it out. Don't worry about not doing well at whatever game you're currently into. Don't worry about the tournament. You know, that's left for like the top 1-2% of the, pros, right? But just go and have a good time. Do your best. Don't get too bummed, even if you go 0-2 or whatever. But because there's so much to enjoy and so much camaraderie, and it's just an amazing time. So if you didn't get to go to EVO this year, hope you're enjoying this video, and you can kind of live vicariously through this video and see everything that was there, and maybe it'll encourage you to go the next year. Or if you went this year, hopefully you're reliving some of the moments. I know we're just focusing on the arcade right now, and that's because it's so huge, and that's what's so amazing. There's House of the Dead 4, and we can see we've entered the racing game area. And I don't know how many minutes it's been, but this is just me walking at a semi-brisk pace, and I still haven't even gone through the entire arcade. If this was a real arcade, it would be like the coolest real arcade ever, right? It has so much stuff from every era, from the ancient American, Battlezone and Centipede and all those games, all the way up to Project L, which isn't even out yet. And I mean, how amazing is that? You have the whole gamut of arcade, everything, all in one place, and surrounded by people that love it just as much as you do, and sometimes even more so. So, and you have people cosplaying. It's just an amazing time. Definitely Start budgeting now. I know most of the time people don't show up because of budget or work or whatever, but you know, you got a year, right? That they already set the date for next year. So talk to your work, start putting away some money, and you know, it's really not that expensive, especially if you share a room with your friends. And I'm sorry, I'm talking more advocating for coming to EVO, but you know, a lot of these games you've probably seen. There's an arcade, American Neo Geo style. I'm sorry, a Neo Geo American style cabinet. I'm real Slug 3, but anyway, I definitely come out. And here we have the tournament area. These are all pools, right? These little, you're going to see, that's just over there is just kind of a, hey, you want to get off your feet and chit chat with your buddies, or you know, have a meal or whatever, carry your food in there. But you'll see all these areas here, just all these tables. Well, I say all, and then of course there's one that's blank. Most of these tables have 4 setups on there. They have 4 PlayStation 4s, or 4 PlayStation 5s, or I think that's it. I don't believe they use any PCs for anything. Oh, are those PCs? Did I just lie? I don't know what there was something there that looked odd. Maybe it was something else. But yeah, so there's all these setups, and they're all numbered. And when your pool comes up, you're like pool whatever 518 or whatever at 2:30 on Saturday, and then you just show up there. And there's a tournament organizer there, and they're really cool. And you go through and you play your matches. And if you make it out of your pool, cool. If you don't, whatever. You have a lot of other parts of EVO to enjoy. Here's some of the stages for the various games that are being played right now. Usually they put the pool games close to the stage that's playing that pool, because that makes sense. I already forgot what that game was, but you know, lots of games being played. The one thing that there was sort of a problem with, and a lot of people encountered this, I did too, unfortunately, the PlayStation 5s, I'm just going to say it, PlayStation 5s are kind of garbage. I'm not talking about the games on there. I'm talking about the hardware. It's not a great design. A lot of them were overheating. Some of them I saw were melting. The USB ports were melting because they were so hot, which is kind of weird because this place was very well air conditioned. It was not hot in there at all. In fact, you know, some people were wearing like coats and stuff because they were a little chilly. So it's not like we were in an oven. But those PlayStation 5s were overheating so much that when I got to my pool to play, we were playing casuals, which we usually do kind of warm up, right? Because it's been a while since I played. And they saw us playing a casual, and they're like, "Hey, after this match, we have to shut all the PlayStations down because they're overheating. We need to let them cool off." And I'm like, "Wow, what the hell is going on?" I have a PlayStation 5, and I have multiple. I have some in cabinets. Maybe you've seen one of my videos where I put a PlayStation 5 in a cabinet, and I never have these kind of problems. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if these are early generation ones or what, but the PlayStation 5s were having problems, and it caused some problems with my controller. It disconnected it several times. And it wasn't just me. I was playing poker with other dudes that had gone to EVO, and I was telling my story, and they were like, "Yeah, same thing happened to me." And so it cost me my second game. I won my first game. I was playing my second game. It was tied 1-1, a round apiece, and my controller, out of the blue, which had never malfunctioned in like, I don't know, 7 years. Whenever I don't know how old the controller is. It's pretty old, 5-6 years, maybe at least 5, probably more. Has never ever malfunctioned, and it paused. I lost the round and the game, and then I played poorly. I'm not going to make any excuse for that. I played poorly in the last game and lost, but I ended up going 4-2 in pools, but I didn't make it out. I lost at the last match before exiting pools on the loser side. But that's neither here nor there. The problem was the PlayStation 5s. Sony really needs to get their act together. You know, it's a powerful system. It's ugly as sin. I really wish it would, but I can forgive that. I just wish it didn't overheat and cause problems, especially at this big tournament, right? And people were like, "I don't know why they didn't use PCs." I'll tell you why they didn't use PCs. Because Sony owns EVO now, and they're not going to use PCs. What does that run? Microsoft software, right? You're running a Microsoft Windows PC? No, sir. They're going to go with consoles. You're going to get PlayStation 4s, PlayStation 5s, and that's it. But I hope they make an iteration of the PlayStation 5 that, you know, is much better than what we have now. But anyway, I know I went on a rant. But basically, I was just walking around. You were seeing the same stuff, right? There's the Street Fighter 6 setups or Street Fighter 6 stage, but you can sit down and watch. Usually, they get high level players. That's where that was a Blind Warrior Sven. That stage was where he played, and of course, if you don't know, Blind Warrior Sven is blind. He cannot see, and to just further prove it, he wears a blindfold. But he is blind, and he won his match up on the big stage against his opponent with Blind Warrior Sven was playing Honda. It was a big thing, and everybody got super hyped for it. But yeah, sure, you can watch it online and get hype online, or even on Discord, watching it with your friends. It's very different when you're there. I mean, it is very different, and different in a very good way. It's amazing. But anyway, more pool stuff, more PlayStation 5s. They did have good, nice monitors and nice headphones. I'll give them credit for that. The InZone monitors and headphones worked perfectly, and they looked really good. So here's an area. I think they were playing Grand Blue Fantasy in this area here. So that was kind of dedicated to that. And what am I doing now? I'm looking at... No, I thought for sure I was going to... Oh, there's I don't know, somebody cosplaying as something. I couldn't really tell. I thought I was going to for sure pause on that burrito, but I did not. Command Center. So this is the area where the tournament officials, the TOs, get together, right? This is where they get their bracket sheets. This is where they turn them in. Oh, wait, is this where Grand Blue Fantasy was? Okay, I don't know. I don't play Grand Blue Fantasy. There was a couple of different major stages where I just honestly just never went there, and I don't play those games. So I basically play two games. I play Street Fighter 6 and ST, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's it. I don't play anything else. I have tried the Mortal Kombats, and I have tried the Tekkens and all that other stuff, and they're fine. And and if you want to play them, that's cool with me. But I have no interest in them. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't play Project L or MK1 because I have absolutely no interest in them. Here is kind of the wall of champions. This is all the EVO champions every single year. Again, if you want to pause it, you can. But you can see every game that was played that year and the champion for that year. So really cool. It ended up being that I was playing when I played my ST because there was a community event for Super Turbo. And I started out really well. I went 3-0, and then I met John Joy, who you will see on the wall as a Super Street Fighter 2 Evo champion. And he plays Ryu, and I play Honda, and that's not a good matchup, even if you're equal footing, like skill wise. And we are not. He had a big skill. There was a big skill difference between us two, and my character's shit against his. So it was just. I just got desperate. I think I won one round out of the 3 games we played each other. But still, it was he was really cool. I was honored to play an EVO champion. So, and that's the thing. You come to EVO, going back to my come to EVO hype. Come to EVO, you can end up playing an ex-EVO champion, and that's good. It's the only time you feel good about losing, right? It's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna beat the I don't know. I felt fine with it, and everybody was super supportive. He was a nice guy and everything. But anyway, we've now moved on to the Joystick Museum, and I think this was in my video last year. That was a gross Capcom Super Nintendo. They also made it for the Genesis controller. Not this one. That's an H-Tech Dreamcast stick. That one was really good. That's one of the first ones that got me into that green Dreamcast stick that got me into Japanese style sticks. But yeah, I think it's been a few seconds here on each one of these. Some of these I have played with before, like that Mad Catz. I couldn't get to it because these two dudes were there. Maybe, yeah, that one right there on the left with the white. That's the one that really brought fight sticks to American FGC. I feel the Japanese style fight sticks to the American FGC. It was the first. And the funny thing is, ironically, Mad Catz. There's no other Mad Catz. Mad Catz was known as just a shit third-party peripheral maker. They made crap controllers, but for whatever reason, somebody had a good idea within Mad Catz when Street Fighter 4 came out to say, hey, you know what? Let's not make shit products. Let's use real Sanwa parts, not Chinese knockoffs, not American sticks, but real Japanese Sanwa parts that they use in arcades, and let's put them in a decent, hefty, nice case, and let's sell it for $200 for the Xbox 360. And I think they also made it for the PS3. I had an Xbox 360 because I preferred it. And it was a massive hit, massive hit. It was very difficult to find one of those sticks. And then from then on, it kind of opened up the floodgates. And now you have Victrix and just a whole bunch of other Kanba and a whole bunch of other folks that are making sticks nowadays, which is amazing. Hori still makes sticks. They've imported a bunch of sticks over the decades probably now. But yeah, these are really cool. It's really cool. I don't even. Oh, this. I think that's the one I keep mentioning. My buddy Taylor. He imported last year. There's a Street Fighter 6 stick, and I think we're getting. The reason I'm not getting as close anymore, I'm getting close to the front. Those are Victrix sticks. Yeah. So people are kind of huddled up there talking about whatever they're talking about. I know there was a raffle where you could win. I think you could win a stick. I'm not sure what the raffle went towards. I don't know if it went to charity or just in their pockets, but there's a gold Victrix. I tried to get a shot of it. Yeah, I think they were talking about the raffle there. These in the front are, I'm not sure how they chose these. I tried to get as best shot as I could, but I guess they thought these were the coolest ones. So these are all Victrix sticks. They're very expensive. I think they're up to 400 plus. These are Mad Cat sticks. These are TE2 sticks. I did not like the design, the physical design. They look cool, the platinum and the gold and all that. But I mean, look at that solid design on those. Of course, it's way more expensive. And these were like plastic junk. And you can kind of tell if you look at it, it looks like plastic junk. And so this is where Mad Catz, I think, messed up with the TE2. But the tournament edition stick, the original one was great. This is a classic. This is a Real Arcade Pro, an HRAP, a Hori Real Arcade Pro, HRAP 3. This is massive. So this thing sits on your lap, and it's like you took a control panel off of an arcade machine and just put it in your lap. And this is the Kanba. I don't know. It's sort of gimmicky. It's like, oh, look, you can flip it up and access stuff. Like, I think you can maybe store your cable in there. You can access your buttons. I'm like, I'm off. I don't know. I'm the type of guy where this is a kind of cool looking Mortal Kombat stick, but I'm the type of guy where I find a stick that I like and I just use it. I typically don't mod it. I'll have before, and if I do mod it, I mod it once. I just use it. It works. I don't need it to have big titty anime babes on it. I don't need it to have, my favorite character on it or my favorite game. I was like, I don't care. Does it work? Yes. Cool. That's all I need. I don't need to be messing with the springs and new buttons but you know what? Some people love it. And if you do, I guess then that flip up joystick is cool for you. But I don't know. I think it's just a big waste of time. People have 7, 8, 9, 10. They're just they worry more about sticks than playing the game. And again, I guess if that's your thing, then that's your thing. That's what you enjoy doing. But I think it's a little weird that you care more about the peripheral than the game. But whatever. Here we are to MK1, and there is a huge line, and I do not care to even get anywhere near that line because I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy. I think I'm just gonna say it. If you're a Mortal Kombat guy, I don't apologize. That game plays like crap. It feels awful. It just feels awful. I love the shit out of Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I hated 1. 1 was total trash. But to be fair, Street Fighter 1 was also total trash. It's complete garbage. But I'm going to be truthful about everything. Street Fighter 1 was complete garbage. Mortal Kombat 1 was complete garbage. But 2 was really good. 3 was... I liked 3. I know people didn't like the dialogue combos and all that stuff. But I thought it was really fun. Here's Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is kind of a weird thing. Tekken 8's not my bag either. But I respect Tekken 8. Or Tekken in general. Oh, there's Harada. Harada was actually there. That's why there was such a big... So he's a producer of Tekken. So, that's a big thing to have him there. And they had some amazing cosplay Tekken characters. I think they were hired by Namco. Because they were really good, and they were doing photos near the booth. But Tekken 8, I completely respect... Or Tekken in general, as a good game that I just don't care for. Mortal Kombat, I'll never respect. It is garbage. It was... The only reason people play it was, for the fatalities and all this, like, stuff that's not the fighting game. And it kind of goes back to the thing is, like, if that's what you like, that's fine. The only problem I have is when people try to tell me that it's a good game. That's where the problem begins. If you want to enjoy Mortal Kombat, enjoy Mortal Kombat. Shout it out to the world. Just don't try to convince me that it's a good game. It's garbage. All right, so moving on. Same thing with Project L. Like, okay, so that's a little bit unfair. I think we may come up to it in a bit. But I can just tell by looking at it, it's just not my type of game. So I don't hate it like the way I hate more. I just resent that people. I'm gonna get away from the Mortal Kombat thing. Street Fighter Duel, also terrible. Love Street Fighter. I don't want it on my phone. Okay. Oh, there was a cosplay right there. Who was that? Sean. Now I'm choking up. Sean. So Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll had a big presence there. They must have paid a lot of money, and they have this big kind of semisphere. There it is, for Jujutsu Kaisen, which apparently is a big thing. A lot of, I mean, they have a whole, mostly a sphere about it, where you'd go in there and actually did the experience there with Nicole. We went in and you kind of lay on the ground. It's kind of like a multi-projector. They do it on the sphere, on the inside of the sphere, and it played the most nonsensical trailer I've ever seen in my life. I still don't know what the hell that thing's about. I thought it was a big waste of time, but you know, I know I'm sounding like a hater, and I don't care. I do hate some things, and you know, it's my right to hate it. And I didn't hate Jujutsu Kaisen. It's just like I didn't understand it, and they made such a big deal about it. And you get into this thing, and I'm like expecting all this cool stuff, and all I got was like out of focus, multi-projectored nonsense. And so I was like, whatever. Cool thing was they did have. So Nicole subscribes to Crunchyroll because she likes to watch Dragon Ball, and if you're a subscriber, they had a crane that you can. Oh, here we go, Super Turbo. This is where these things are so cool. Anyway, in the crane, I ended up winning a Dragon Ball prize, which was awesome. That was from Crunchyroll. But going to these things, those things that you just saw were CRT. They're basically mini arcades. They had the arcade board, and then the CRT bolted on there, and then USB adapters so you can play USB sticks, and you can see more of them here. You can see the arcade board leaning up against, and the real CRTs. You can see the power supply up there, and on the right and upper left and upper right, maybe you can kind of make them out. That is a dark soft, so that's basically like you can play any game for the CPS2 and maybe some others, but that's a real arcade board there. You can see the USBs, they're kind of to the left and right on the very top, and this is where we did the Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo tournament on Saturday, and it was awesome. It had 80 some entrants. Like I said, I won 3 in a row, and then I met John Joy and lost, and then I lost against another Ken. Again, I was playing Honda, and I'm just kind of trash. So, but still, I did all right. I won more than I lost, so I was happy. And so all this is like the community tournament area, and so a lot of folks are playing games that didn't make the cut for EVO here, right? So you can pretty much, I think you can probably, if you do it with enough time and you contact the EVO officials, that you can probably get any game you want to hold your own community event, and then they can actually make it. It's like part of your sign up is you can actually sign up for a community event tournament. And you go through the same process like if you're doing registering for EVO, and so yeah, it's all like it's like an unofficial, like an official unofficial tournament, and it's just basically they say, yeah, you can run it, we'll give you space, but you're responsible for doing it on your own. But still, really cool that people love their games so much, and their community gets together like once a year, right? Another push for EVO. To attend EVO, and they come and they bond, and they get to talk to each other, and it's just awesome to play side by side instead of on the internet. Playing on the internet, it's great, but man, it's really tough to beat that in-person live experience when you're playing these games. Fighting games were never meant to be played online. I mean, they are now, they're designed to be, but those old ones definitely were not. So moving on over here, you can see the Crunchyroll stuff on the right side. I think this is the indie section where folks that are doing independent, these little indie development games have set up booths so you can try out their games. Some of them are fighting games. I don't know that they're all fighting games. I truthfully didn't spend a whole lot of time here. This is about as much time as I spent here right now, just kind of filming this section. But it's cool again that you can see cool independent stuff that you may not see or have a chance to play anywhere else. So up here to the left, we're getting into Artist's Alley. And that's where things can get a little bit spicy, if you know what I mean. We'll see that here in a little bit. I'm not sure if I think there's some more indie stuff to my left. I'm not sure if I go down there right now or if I just delve into Artist's Alley. It looks like I'm just going into Artist's Alley. So Artist's Alley, as the name implies, is basically where people bring their wares. Sometimes it's jewelry or pen or pixel art, but a lot of it is big titty anime women. Let's just be upfront with it. That's a decent chunk of this. So if you're offended by that, you probably shouldn't watch this part. I don't spend a whole lot of time focusing on this stuff, but it's definitely there. And it's I'll be honest, it's a little ridiculous. There are some thirsty weebs out there, let me tell you. It is it's something to see. But yeah, and you can see it's pretty packed too, curiously, huh? But to be fair, it's not that wide of an area. But yeah, you can I think I'm just like, God, man, they just don't even care. They don't even care. They're just gonna throw them out there. That's not to say that all the artists do that, which they don't, so that's not fair to say. But when they do, man, they really go all out. So some of these are cool. You'll see a lot of pixel art. Some sometimes they take, or they'll put an interesting take on pretty cool fighting game related stuff, characters and stuff. Oh, here, my friend Shez, I'm not sure what's going on with talking here, because again I can't hear the video, but it's funny because I had not seen anybody from Austin, which is where I'm from, at all the whole time. But when I filmed this video, I run into two, and they both want to talk to me. And of course, they don't know that I'm doing this walkthrough and I'm trying to do it in one take. So Shez, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to snub you. I know Nicole is behind me; she's kind of trailing me, and I'm gonna lose her in a little bit because we go separate ways. I think she gets me some water, and then you'll see why I have to chase her down. But anyway, Shez was he's super awesome. Shez is an amazing guy. I found out recently he has a complete U.S. and I think also Japanese Dreamcast collection, like the entirety of the library. Which is, I never knew that. I don't have a complete any library, and I have thousands and thousands of retro games, but I don't have a complete library of anything. But Shez is crazy, but he's also awesome, and he's a lovable guy, super chill. So yeah, sorry about that, Shez. I didn't mean to snub you. I was just trying to get through to finish filming this walkthrough. We kind of left Artist out a little bit. I mean, you can still see a little bit remnants of it there to the left, mostly plushies and stuff. But I think we're going to start getting into the arcade shop type sellers, the equipment sellers, the sticks and buttons and pretty much everything that goes into fighting sticks or fighting games here pretty soon. Oh, I guess we're not there yet. Here's an Arc System Works. That was a timeline of their entire, I guess, library. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time. I'm not too familiar with their older stuff. I know they have focused on fighting games pretty recently, but yeah, here is a timeline of 35 years of Arc System Works games. So that's pretty cool that they've been around that long. And let's see over here to the left. Nope, just kidding, to the right. What are we doing here? This is, what is this place? I saw a PC there. Oh, there's a line. So that's probably for Project L. SNK's booth was cool, but it didn't have the new Fatal Fury. So if it had, I would have stood in line there to play it for sure. But I don't remember. Oh, it's just Arc System. It's Arc System Works' booth. So if you wanted to get some tchotchkes or whatever from there, you could. There's the Tekken 8 booth again. We've kind of come around. And, oh, here are the cosplay guys that I'm assuming that they hired. And they look amazing. The Jin and the Kazuya look really good. I think that's Asuka on the far left there. But yeah, I think that's the Tekken 8 version of Asuka. Here is just a lounge where you can just chill, sponsored by your friends at Chipotle. How many times have we seen the Chipotle logo? Quite a bit. Apparently, you can get some Street Fighter 6 coins or whatever with you, and there's another Chipotle sign. Order online or something. I don't know. I never really eat from Chipotle. We have Freebirds here, which is a better burrito. So in Austin, so that's what we eat here instead of Chipotle. Although we do have Chipotles here. Enough about Chipotle. Anyway, so here's to the left is the SNK booth, the back side of it, which is decorated with King of Fighters stuff. I think that the the line to my right is for Project L. Again, I didn't play it, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's for Project L. This board here was cool because they just basically left dry erase markers out, and people started creating artwork and graffiti and stuff like that. So that was really neat that they did that. I think over here we're starting to get into so Victrix is there. I saw a little glimpse of it to the right. Victrix is one of the manufacturers of hitboxes and fight sticks, and they're very proud of their stuff. They're very proud, meaning it's very expensive. So they have some sticks upwards of almost $500. So yeah, I'm not paying that much for a fight stick, although they seem really cool. They seem very high quality. Like they seem like they're one piece aluminum and very hefty. You definitely feel like you're buying a premium product when you get one of those. But yeah, I'm just not willing to put down that kind of cash. Over here to the left, is this? I couldn't see it. Sorry guys, I can't remember what that was. There's a lot of these smaller booths, like I think Brooks is there. Was that the Brooks booth? I don't know. Brooks definitely didn't have the PS5 Wingman for sale. That would have been a hot item. If they did, they probably sold out super quickly. Although I don't think we've gotten to yet the JLX. So this is the new. So JLF is the standard Sanwa joystick that has been around for a long time and I've used forever. But I did buy a JLX stick. It wasn't that much. It was like $16-17. And it's funny because after I bought that JLX, so this was filmed before my Street Fighter 6 pool, and I bought the JLX stick, not during this video, but afterwards. And then I went to go play my pool, and then I started having joystick problems, and I thought, oh, maybe my stick's going bad. They got jealous that I got a new JLX. But no, I'm pretty sure it was a PlayStation 5. Here's some marketable, so it's just a t-shirt place? Yeah, so there's some clothing booths here as well. I was going to say, I don't think we've gotten to it yet, but there is, who was it? Oh, Hitbox. There was a small Hitbox booth where they were allowing, that's cool. These guys make carpets based on fighting game logos. I think we're getting back to Artist Alley, but we'll get to it in a second. There's a Hitbox, there's Junk Food Customs. So they make hitboxes. They're known for the snack, was it the snack box, the micro, something like that. It's a really tiny hitbox style. So anyway, going back to the hitbox booth, because their controller does not work on PS5, they were actually lending out. They had a bag like I don't know, 50 or 100 PS5 Wingman converters from Brooks that allow pretty much any controller to work on a PS5. They're very, very difficult to get. I don't know, I guess they called up Brooks and made some kind of deal, but they must have bought boxes and boxes of like cases of those. And all you had to do is give them your ID, and then they would allow you to check out a Brooks Wingman converter for the PS5, so you can use your stick on the PS5, and then later on, of course, you return it, and then they give you your driver's license back. I suppose I have a feeling quite a few people did not come back for their driver's license and said, fuck it, I will just get a new driver's license when I get home, because I really need this Wingman joystick. And I mean, I don't know, it's kind of, I mean, they know who you are. They can definitely put you on blast because they have a driver's license, unless you gave them a fake one. But anyway, I thought it was neat that they did that. Here you go. Here are the big titty anime girls. We're back in Artist Alley, and yeah. So there's that. Then there's some other cool stuff. You get some chibi stuff and some really cutesy stuff. I focus on this because I'm pretty sure that was Justin Wong had a booth in Artist Alley for some reason, but it was completely blank and nowhere to be found. There's just nothing there, nothing at all. So I don't know why he had a booth there, but it was pretty funny. More wall scrolls. I remember wall scrolls being a big thing in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, wall scrolls were sold everywhere. Video game shops, anime shops, comic book shops everywhere. So there's some really cool custom made stuff. choking up again. Like I know, not everybody's making these big titty anime girls, but I think that just kind of defines this for me. Like that's just like, oh my god, like what is going on? But I shouldn't discredit the whole thing, because there really are some very talented artists out here, not only just in drawing, but in craftsmanship, right? And so, yeah. Over here, I'm not really sure what most of these are. Sometimes they get away from the fighting game genre. Sometimes they don't. I'm not sure what is going on, so I'll just kind of looking around the same time that you are. I don't remember much of this at all. And it was so crowded, like sometimes I couldn't even see most of the booths that I was passing by. I think this caught my interest because of the hitbox stuff. And I don't use a hitbox. I probably should, since I play Guile in Street Fighter 6. I didn't mean to play Guile. He was just the easiest character to play, so that's why I'm playing Guile right now. I guess I could play Zangief. He may be easier. I did play him in Street Fighter 5, but I don't know. I haven't taken time to learn the differences, and he wasn't in the beta, so when I was playing the beta, I just played Guile, and I just got used to it, and I'm lazy. So that's really the reason. Oh, this is... he was not hired. I don't think he was hired by the Namco guys. What's his name? Oh, gosh, I can't remember. I'm not a Tekken person. I just remember he was the blind guy. It's killing me. It's killing me, but I'm not going to spend too much time. I can't remember. Maybe it'll come later. But yeah, he was there. I saw him taking lots of pictures. He was really cool. He was taking lots of pictures with lots of people. He was one of the best costumes, I think, one of the best cosplays at EVO. And so to the right are drink stations. I think this is where Nicole and I end up splitting ways, because she takes a water bottle from my backpack that I'm wearing and fills it up for me because I'm very thirsty, and then she has to go locate me later, and I see her and I see her she's going the wrong way, so you're probably going to hear me calling out to her as I try to get her attention. But InZone, so InZone is Sony's brand for gaming peripherals. And gotta be honest, they're really good. They're just very expensive. So if you don't mind plunking down the money, you won't be disappointed with the product. And here's the hitbox booth that I was talking about, where these nice people were renting out for free, lending out PS5 Wingman for those folks. And you didn't even have to just have a hitbox. You just could have any controller that you just needed a converter for. So this line here is for these tiny little, I forgot what they're called, nanos. They're I think they're 6 millimeter thin hitboxes. And I say hitboxes in the general term, right? There's actually a hitbox brand. That booth that we just passed by is the hitbox brand. It's kind of like the Kleenex, right? Everybody calls facial tissues Kleenex. Everybody calls them hitboxes, but they're really not. I think... what do they call the Arcade Paradise? Is it Arcade Paradise? I can't even remember what booth that was. But this long line here is just to buy that super, super tiny hitbox type controller. I did get one for Taylor, and I got one for myself, even though I don't use a hitbox. And I might give it a try and give up on it about 15 minutes, because I don't have the patience to learn a new controller, even though it would probably benefit me in the long term. But anyway, there was a pretty long line for those, and it was a very, very popular item. So I'm not sure which is to the right. Oh, it's a Street Fighter booth, which of course I didn't bother with. I don't know why they have like a basketball game there, but it was kind of a similar one that they had last year, which, last year Street Fighter 6 hadn't been out, so everybody got online to go play Street Fighter 6. Would be one of the first people, but this time I just didn't even bother. I already had the game. So this is Project L, and this is by Riot Games, and it's basically, I think it's a 2v2 modern type controls, if you're familiar with Street Fighter 6, fighting game. And I don't know, it looks very anime to me, a lot of air juggles and stuff like that, so immediately turns me off. But it probably will be fairly popular, and I guess that's good for the genre. The bad thing about that is that there's the PlayStation booth, is that if that happens, if Project L becomes huge, then modern controls, which are like kind of smash controls, are going to become the standard, and all the newbies are going to be wanting to use that. and as an old fart, I don't want to get used to that. It's not that I'm opposed to it. If I had started with it like those new people starting now, like that's fine. Like I totally get it. You started playing now, and that was the thing. But when I started playing, it wasn't that way. We use classic, what they call classic controls. That makes it even sound older. Classic controls, and that's what I'm used to. And it just takes too much goddamn effort to change. And I don't like putting in effort to my games. So, and that's why I'll always be a scrub at fighting games. But yeah, that's the only danger I feel. If Project L gets really big, it's going to be because if it gets so big, then that people will expect that to be the standard. But anyway, there's the PlayStation booth that I just mentioned. We kind of passed by it earlier. They did have some decent tournaments where they would give away, it was like 8-person tournaments every couple hours, and they would give away cool stuff like PlayStation 5 or headphones or things like that. And I got into, I just randomly walked up to it, and I got into one of these tournaments, and then I found out you had to use the control pad. Oh, there's Quincy. He's from Austin as well, and I felt bad snubbing him. Later, after I stopped filming, I came back and I talked to him and I said, "Hey, man, sorry, I didn't mean to snub you. I was just filming." I think he recognized it. I think he probably yelled out, "I see you creating content," because he saw me filming. But yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the PlayStation thing. They made you use the controllers, like the DualSense, like the DualShock or DualSense, whatever they call it. And I couldn't do a goddamn thing. So I was like, well, this was a waste of time. I can't use these goddamn things. I'm basically a fight stick or nothing. Like, I can't use anything. I can't use controllers, anything else. I can't use controllers. I can't use hitboxes, pads. I just fight sticks. That's all I can use. And they pretty much have to be Samba parts, at least a Samba stick. This buttons, not so much. But anyway, this is another community area. I think this is kind of free play. So they have that sounds weird. Setups set up. Of course, they're set up for various games, and I think you can just bring your own stuff and just hang out and be with your friends. It could be modern games, it could be older games, it could be whatever you want. Although I don't think there's any CRTs in this area, so I think they're limited to LCD screens. So, although some of those on the left I think were brought by people, so I guess technically if you brought in your own CRT, you could probably play that as well. But I see, according to the video, that things are wrapping up. There's really not much more to say. This was the entire thing. I had an absolute blast. Again, if you didn't show up this year, hopefully you can make it out next year. And if you came, I hope you enjoyed the video and reminisce a little bit about that awesome weekend. But I think that's it for me for now. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them below. Thanks again. Till next time. Bye-bye.